know, that's what Susan said.
Yep.
Yeah, everyone ate her
Good evening.
Sunday.
We'll call our meeting to order. Welcome, everyone. I'd like to call on Pastor Dan Hazelton to lead us in prayer and the Pledge of Allegiance tonight. Please stand.
Lord, it's our pleasure to be here tonight, and we've gathered here. Our desire is to make the best decisions for the city. Lord, we know that you give us wisdom and abilities, and then it's even multiplied as we ask for your blessing, as we sense your leading. So, Lord, we pray that those things will take place. Lord, we thank you for how you have blessed our city, and we're thankful for the protection that you give us, whether it has to do with wind and those kind of storms or outside forces that would want to come and bring harm to this area. Lord, we thank you for your protection. We ask for that continued protection. Lord, we pray that great decisions will be made for the city this evening and in the following days. Lord, we ask this in your name. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Roll call, please.
Ketcher,
Here.
Shropshire,
Here.
Nance,
Here.
Smith,
Here.
Chitwood,
Here.
Brakefield,
Here.
Trammell,
Here.
Thompson.
Here.
Thank you. We'll move to item 2, petitions from the audience. I'd like to recognize Mr. John Mozingo. You come to the microphone, please. Welcome.
Now, if you're gonna give me 5 miles, I'm gonna get talking about 92 miles an hour, and then that way you're gonna have to listen fast. If I just get 5 minutes. I got a situation here with the city. Bought that farm in 2000, and up there on 5th Street, and I don't keep a diary, but anyhow, since we moved in there, and I'm gonna guesstimate maybe after probably 2003 or something like that, GRDA come in, dozed the timber down for us up on the North Plaza, on the North 40 there that we had, and so they biled that up for me. And of course, one of the quick fella popped off to me, said, "Yeah, John," said, "save that piece of wire," like I didn't need it, but anyhow, like I say, I haven't kept no record. And I'm trying to think, maybe that around 2000, maybe 2 or 3, and I built a new fence all after they got through dozing that off, before I went in there and dressed that all up in there, and then I went in and started a fence, and I got thinking about that pipe that I've lost here in the last year and a half that they're saying that it wasn't there, but I couldn't even got in and out of that field and had my welders and stuff like that. If it hadn't been there, I couldn't get up in there or done. And I'm gonna build a new fence that border there, and then we come right down to a T. And I had 2 gates built, a 3rd one there. They all come together. I can throw them gates out, or I can throw them in, or I can throw one this way or that. And I had a pipe there, and I can just lay it outside and have the whole thing open. But I didn't miss my whistle to maybe the last year and a half. My grandson-in-law lived there. We give each one of them an acre, and then they bought some extra acreage. And so then I had it surveyed, and so now there's no way that I can come in there, and I'm ready to start fertilizing here just as soon as we can get in the field, and then we'll be baling hay there on the place. And there's no way to get in and out there. We sold 14 acres up there off of 5th Street. Used to, I could come through there and go back up through there to get out. But when the Amish comes in there with them big trailers, they can't get in there. And I need a whistle here in the next 2 or 3 days. And I've called nobody's name. But just another incident. I've never called nobody's name, but I said, person that works for this city and this and that. And a feller, we were down there at Tractor Supply, and I know this family, we just sitting there visiting, and here comes an employee, walks right up, you ain't gonna believe this, walked right up in front of my face, and this feller, he said, hey, when we get that equipment back out here, I said, I've got a lot more work to be done out there in northwest of Pryor, say 6 miles in that area, and said, and I need a whistle. And the city worker said, well, I'll try to see if I can find you one, but if we can't find you one, we might get the county to bring one to furnish you. And so anyhow, this employee, the manager come up there and said, hey, I remember that night, I sold a big, and he come up there and told that fella, said, hey, we gotta get that compressor out here. He was up that tall, and he wanted him to get a hold and get that out of there. But I couldn't believe that and walked away from that, you know. And so I haven't even called anybody's name, and another resident out there in that area run on to me at Lock Supply, and he come out here, and me and him got to visiting. He said, John, you don't know half the things that's going on northwest up there in that part there. And the wife and I were back out, I'm going to guesstimate at least 8 miles back northwest. I had a feller that done some work for me, and I wanted to see him, and Joy and I went up there, and knocked on it, he wasn't there. I started down the road, and probably a half a quarter, there's a city truck, there's a city trailer, and there's the trencher out there digging out there. And I just pulled off the road, just get off the road, and the young fella come to me, and I didn't have a camera to get the pictures there at that time, because I've got all kinds, 95% of the thing I tell you, I've got pictures. And this young fella come out there. We sat there and visited, likable boy, this and that, but having equipment out there, and you just cannot imagine what's going. And now, like this whistle's gone, I'm not buying no whistle, because I need to get in that field, and I need to get in there now. And so I just, I want it done. I want it put up. And let me just throw another little kink in there on a different situation with the city. Here, they had a little high-speed chase down at the store there on Elliott Street. And I didn't even realize what goes on. I just happened to look. They was flashing lights. They was vehicles all over our place. And I grabbed that gun, and when I come out that door, here come Branson up the drive. He said, I thought I better get some light on for John, and then he started hollering at me when I come out that gun. And nobody contacted me or nothing. And they was all over that place. They went through 5 of my fences when they had their high-speed chase. I guess it was the 4th Street. Went through there, and the neighbor right there tore his fence all down. It bent the gas meter down some. Tore all that down. They came back. They went through 5 of my fences, tore them down. And I told, and me and Branson, we was together there and went over there and where this happened. And this guy went through 5 fences and took a left, and it's wondering if he'd hit a tree, he'd probably killed himself. And he went airborne and went right down to my pond. And I told Branson, I said, they ain't gonna move that pickup. I said, I put up with this for many a times. My neighbor out there, and they take that. And so Branson said, John said, you're gonna ruin your pond with that oil going into it. And so they told me, said, just make me a bill for us, and said, we'll pay it. I give them a bill the next day for $480. And the next day, 2 officers sat on the front porch after that night. After that happened, 2 officers sat right there on there, said, we know who he is, that we've dealt with him before. He said he's already called me to see if he could get his pickup. And I said, I wasn't gonna let him take it down, so we'll take it down to Pryor Police. So the next morning I went down and picked up the debris off of the pickup and just here and there and took it down there. And I said, I won't put in the back of his pickup. There wasn't no pickup there. And they took a box and put it in the police department. And, so they said, no, they took it down there, and I took it down to the, just, on the west there, the fellow that, that's got, I think it's his name there. He said, that pickup wasn't brought here. And I said, where's it at? I said, it's supposed to be there at Pryor. He said, John, I can step out the door, and said, I bet I can throw a rock right where it's at. I said, okay, and it was on a Saturday. I went over there to that, over there by the back corner there by the, where it's all enclosed there. And I went over and I walked that whole thing out. There wasn't a pickup one there. I went to the fairgrounds. I was looking for that pickup, never found it. And I got run around about that and come find out it was down on Carbide Road, and the feller there, come find out it was down there. He put me in his little wagon, took out there, and showed him at the pickup, and I took pictures of it. And I said, give them a bill, and the real cold night here a while back, there's a car run over and knocked over my neighbor's fence. I think knocked down about 8 posts, and here come 2 officers. And I don't know whether I'm tell this or not. I wasn't fully dressed. Boy, it was cold as a wedge. I said, hey, you people get in. When I open this door, I'm heading for the closet, and I got me a robe on. And they come and to see who done that, and see who run through the fence. And they was trying to find out who done. And I told them, I said, I know where the feller lives, and showed, oh, you go right down straight through there. Feller come the other day, or here a while back after that was done, and this feller come back, said, I'll be back next week, and give him $450 something. And then the city of Pryor never done nothing, tore down 5 fences, and never spent a dime on it. That don't make you happier. It don't me. I'll do that way. I won't take any more of your time.
Thank you very much, John.
Okay.
We'll move to item 3, department head reports. Building inspector.
Good evening. It's good to see you all again. I don't have anything new to report. Do you all have any questions for me? All right, thank you.
Thank you very much. Emergency management. No report. Item C, fire department. Recognize B.K. Young.
I don't have anything for you all. The only other thing was Darla did get you a 3rd bid for that concrete work. Did y'all?
It's in the addendum.
Okay.
It's behind the
Not-
addendum.
yeah.
But that's all I got, unless y'all have something.
Thank you very much.
Sir?
Golf course. Mr. Dennis Bowman.
Good evening, Council Mayor. So everything's going great at the golf course. We're excited. You know, a lot of good things happening. Getting all of our equipment in, selling a lot of memberships. Did have a report there on the memberships, and so that's going really good. If anybody has any questions on that, I'll be glad to answer them, or call me later, whatever. We're excited. Our little promotion went really well, so we're just tickled to death with that. Is there any questions on any of that part yet?
You got any events planned here coming up?
Yes, I'll go over some of the events that we just had. In April, we just had the Pryor Girls High School Tournament, Junior High Tournament, the Boys Tournament, and we just recently hosted the Girls Regional State Tournament and the Boys Regional State Tournament. One of the couple other things that the Halloween Festival, that's going really good. The committee's doing a great job on that. I'm really tickled with their progress. We have had a little Bermuda loss. I don't know if y'all seen anything like Southern Hills. They replaced 3 acres of sod, so that's a lot of sod, and it's duck hunting time.
That's not me.
Time for those elbows.
I turned it off.
So, but anyway, you know, we have a little bit of Bermuda loss, so I think, you know, it's manageable for our circumstances. So we're gonna cut a little sod and get a little sod and try to patch up a few spots, but overall, golf course in really good shape. We just recently hosted the Diamond Bar Ranch benefit golf tournament, and that went really well. I don't know if you know Coleman Proctor. He's a team roper. He's up there. He lives right up on the east side of town here, and he's one of them you'll see on TV. You know, he's up there. He's usually ranked top 15 in the nation most of the time. So, but him and his wife Stephanie, it's our 5th annual tournament we've hosted for them, and the benefit went to camplikemax.com, and it's a great organization. I researched it. I would bet money that you cannot go to their website, read this story about this young man without shedding some tears. You know, I couldn't, and so it just really tickles me to be able to help raise money for those kind of causes. It really touches my heart, and you know, everybody, my maintenance staff, everybody's just doing exceptional out there. Everybody's working hard, and we're getting a good product. The pro shop staff, cart boys, everybody. So, but please go to that camplikemax.com and just check that website out. It's just, you know, those are places like that we're helping raise money for, and it's just an outstanding cause. They're, I don't know what you call it, but kind of their character model is the 2nd verse of Corinthians, verse 5. So, but man, I tell you, if you go there, you'll see some money that we raised out there is going for outstanding.
Is that the one you had 8 people, eight people per hole?
Yes, yeah, we put 8somes to the hole.
Yeah.
That way it keeps the integrity of the golf tournament, where people don't pencil whip the other teams. And it took all day to do that, but man, was it worth it. And it was on a rainy day. Saturday morning it rained.
Cart path only.
Cart paths only. It went great. You know, we wouldn't have probably made much money that day anyway, and the golf course made about $3,000 in green fees and carts. So, plus but the bigger factor, like I said, we raised a lot of money for that charity.
Yep.
So, but I highly encourage you to do that. You know, we have the PGA Championship coming up in Tulsa, and the senior PGA. So if you get a chance to go up there, the 25th of this month. So that's a great event. It's going to be a neat deal. That's all I have. Anybody have any questions?
Thank you very much, Dennis.
Thank you.
Library, recognize Ms. Carrie Rarrett.
Just to save time, I'll do the take one and pass one. So you're getting our fancy pants statistics for April. Just to go over that quickly, we had 25 people sign up for new library cards, which is low for us even during COVID times. So let's hope May is better. And once again, we're in the new territory of having more digital items check out than physical items.
That's yours.
Sorry. So our physical checkout was, in April, was 2,193 physical items, and then our digital checkouts, 2,250. So it's kind of, I'm a little bit glad that it's happening this time because our renewal for the Overdrive subscription, which is how you check out digital things, is on this agenda. So there you go. I put back on there programming because we're about to have, summer reading is gonna start, so we're gonna get back into our programming groove. We will have, I think I've talked about this before, a variety of in-person, online, and grab-and-go programs, which keeps us pretty nimble for the pandemic is how we planned it, but also when we start construction in the building. So we'll have some leeway there. And summer reading registration begins a week from today. So please sign up and read all summer long. Do you guys have any questions for me? Okay.
Thank you very much. Park Cemetery, recognize Mr. Frank Powell.
Getting the parks ready for the summer and cemetery for Memorial Day. Everything's going pretty good. Got the splash pad opened up Friday. So it's going good, already been pretty busy. Did have, okay, on the pool, so we've done, some inspections, engineer and and so today we had the actual, like the state inspector, health inspector come and give us a walkthrough. So he's gonna submit some recommendations on his part, and so the next council, we should have the actual report between the inspector and engineers and see what happens. But other than that, we're just staying busy.
Update on the bathrooms.
Hopefully, the next 3 weeks, that's what we're hoping. It's just a matter of getting, I think a lot of us, once he gets the roofers there, I think they're kind of held up until they get the metal on the roof. And then, once that, then the way I take it, it should move pretty quick after that.
Okay.
I know we got Relay of Life coming up.
Yeah.
So I don't know if it's gonna be done by then or not, but I think we got the porta potties and then the tennis court restrooms.
Any update on Bobby Buck?
Still there. Still there.
Okay.
Like I said, as long as the weather holds up, I hope to get on the week after Memorial Day.
Yeah, that's what, I just want to make sure everybody understands what we're doing, that's the plan, so.
Yeah.
How about Cemetery Road?
Nothing yet. Yeah. So, other than that, cemetery's looking pretty good though. Luckily, the weather, we have rain, but at that same time, it's eased up and
Yeah,
it's helped us out.
good.
Yeah.
Was the state inspector positive? No?
Depends what you call positive.
And we anticipate a report for Park Board coming up this next week, and then a recommendation perhaps to council after that. Any other questions? Thank you, Frank. Police Department, Chief Nichols.
You enclosed our stats for the police department and the animal shelter in your packet. And other than that, I don't have anything unless you all have any questions tonight.
What about the issues with the kids and you see kids in the park? Great parents are complaining about 4 or 5 kids in the park harassing them all the time out there in the park. So
As you well know, that's not the first time.
I understand that, but my point is, public knows that we're addressing it. You got people out there that you're watching it, trying to figure it out.
And we may have to put some extra security measures in place out there.
Yeah, because it has to do with kids, and we all know how juveniles is. Now the court system works with juveniles. It's a different world anymore.
Why are you looking at me?
Because you're a judge, because you're an attorney now. You never know.
Thanks, Chief. Recreation Center,
You might want
recognize Jessica Long.
We have a sign. Has anybody seen it?
Yes, looks great.
So pretty. Yeah,
Cool.
it's so pretty. I'm still trying to figure out how to use it, so there's not very much on there yet, but we're getting there. It came with a book, so I'm just trying to get through the book. But it does. It looks really, really good, so we're excited about that. We finalized our plans for summer yesterday, so we're going to kick off our summer's going to kick off June 7th. So we're offering a kids fitness class 2 days a week, of course, as a way to bring in revenue, but I've been approached by a couple of people, and it's something that's always been close to my heart. There's kids out there who aren't going to basketball camps, football camps, baseball. They don't have a sport, but they still need to exercise. They still need to stay active, and so that's what hopefully this class will attract those kids for the summer. We'll just do that for June and July. We're also, starting the 7th, we're going to increase our water aerobics in the mornings, because that class is averaging, minimum usually 30 in that class. So that they've requested to go 5 days a week. So Jerome is helping us out, and he's going to pick up a couple classes, and that way we can offer that all week long. We're also we've added a couple of senior classes, and then for our senior members, we're offering a challenge. They've always felt left out of our challenges before, or maybe that it's not quite as fair.
Jimmy.
There you go. So you got to come in the building though and compete. But this challenge will be for them, and we'll tailor it for them so that they can kind of compete amongst themselves. I feel like there was one other piece to the summer. Oh, family swim. We are anticipating if the pool does open, that it may be a little bit before the outdoor pool can get open, and so we're kind of preparing for that. And so we have increased our swim hours, which that'll actually start the day after Memorial Day, to 7 days a week. So that way we'll be able to offer the community a pool 7 days a week. And we've got guards for that. And so anyway, that's kind of our summer plan, and we're
Do you have an
excited about
update
it.
for the fitness pad on donations?
I can tell you that we've met with two companies, or two individuals, and so we're waiting to hear back from them patiently waiting. I'm hopeful about both of them, but
Good.
I haven't heard anything yet, so.
Good.
And then, of course, the covering the awning or whatever is still in design phase.
What about fishing? I know his kids are coming out across the road with perch and everything else out of the pond, and so somebody asked me the other day, will you allow people to put fish in the pond, or do you want just certain species? And so,
I have not been asked about putting fish in the pond. The outdoor education class at Pryor asked if they could come over and utilize the pond. So they've been coming back and forth
good.
for the last 3 or 4 weeks. And I've had a couple people ask permission to fish the pond, which I told them they could as long as they leave the fish there. But no one's asked me about putting fish in.
I had a guy ask me, he said, oh, I'm catching a lot of fish, and he said, I'd like to put some catfish in there. And I said, well, I don't know. I said, you need to talk to, I told him Kelly.
Kelly would
at the
probably
point,
be,
because he's
yeah.
a former game ranger, and then the ecology of the pond, so I don't know, you might think about that, because I think there's some men that like to put some fish in there, but I don't.
Well, if they want to call me, I'll get a hold. I have a contact. If Kelly doesn't have the answer, I have a contact with the Oklahoma Department of Wildlife, so
Okay,
we'll
good.
get an answer.
All right, thank you.
So, yeah. Anything else?
Thank you,
Okay.
Jessica. Street Department, no report tonight. We'll move to item number 4, Mayor's Report. A, possible executive session pursuant to the Oklahoma Open Meeting Act for the purpose of conferring on matters pertaining to economic development, including the transfer of property, financing, creation of a proposal to entice a business to remain or to locate within the jurisdiction of the city of Pryor Creek, where the public disclosure of a matter discussed would interfere with development of products or services or would violate the confidentiality of the business. 25 OS Part 307 C11. Is there a motion?
I'll make that motion.
Second. Motion Thompson, second Chitwood. Call for vote.
Ketcher,
Yes.
Shropshire,
Yes.
Nance.
Yes.
Smith,
Yes.
Chitwood,
Yes.
Brakefield,
Yes.
Trammell,
No.
Thompson.
Yes.
All right, we are adjourned to executive session. Those in the gallery, not sure how long we'll be, but we Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for your patience tonight. We'll move to item 4B, discussion and possible action regarding resuming regular session. No action taken during executive session. Is there a motion?
Motion. Second.
Motion Chitwood, second Nance. Call for vote.
Shropshire,
Yes.
Nance,
Yes.
Smith,
Yes.
Chitwood,
Yes.
Brakefield,
Yes.
Trammell,
Yes.
Thompson,
Yes.
Ketcher.
Yes.
Motion carries. Item 4C, discussion possible action regarding renewal with or without change in contract language, automatic renewal, or termination of the agreement between City of Pryor Creek, Oklahoma and Retail Attractions LLC Consultant as provided in Part 2, Term of Agreement, and Part 7, Miscellaneous Provisions, Paragraph 1, Termination, Modification, and Suspension. Is there a motion?
Motion. Second.
Motion Chitwood, second
What's the motion?
Smith.
Due to the contract, or due to the agenda item
Oh,
language?
which one?
Either a motion to renew it with a change
So
or
he's gonna
without a change?
Well, I think we're under, can we do discussion first and then do the vote?
No.
Motion needs to
that-
be
You have
made
to say your
first.
motion.
Okay, motion be
Okay.
made first.
Renewing or rejecting, yeah.
Okay.
Okay,
You want to modify your motion?
I will. Renewal without the change in contract language. Second that.
There was, would you like,
He seconded.
a second, okay? Motion to renew without the change, Chitwood, second, Smith. Now discussion. Any discussion? Hearing none, call for vote.
Nance,
Yes.
Smith,
Yes.
Chitwood,
Yes.
Brakefield,
Yes.
Trammell,
No.
Thompson,
Yes.
Ketcher,
Yes.
Shropshire.
Yes.
Motion carries. Item 4D, discussion and possible action regarding removing from the table item D from Mayor's Report on May 4th, 2021.
Motion?
Second.
Do we need the same ones who tabled and seconded to remove?
That would be proper.
Okay?
It's in the minutes. I don't have them in front of me.
I don't have my,
Okay.
Your packet.
Council, do you remember?
I don't remember who.
Trammell, did you table it?
I think I made a motion to table.
I don't know if that's absolutely.
That's not absolute, it's not absolutely required. It's a recommendation, but it's not a requirement, I don't think.
So,
Got-
Item number D on that mayor's report was made by Ketcher and second by Nance.
Made Ketcher and Nancy, huh? Okay, thank you.
All right, then make the motion to
Bring off the
bring it
table?
off the table.
Okay. Nance, would you like to?
Yeah, I'll
second? Call for vote.
Smith,
Yes.
Chitwood,
Yes.
Brakefield,
Yes.
Trammell,
Yes.
Thompson,
Yes.
Ketcher,
Yes.
Shropshire,
Yes.
Nance.
Yes.
Item 4E, discussion and possible action regarding spending the remainder of CARES Act relief funds toward remedy the Salt Branch Creek seasonal flooding. Is there a motion?
Motion?
Second.
Motion Shropshire, second Smith. Discussion.
I've got some questions about that.
Okay.
We've got some other things that I think might be more appropriate, and maybe if we can get it done. I don't know what the costs are gonna be yet, but one of them is maybe getting the swimming pool open for the kids. I think that would be, we need to have something for kids to do, and the swimming pool was one of the big things they had during the summer, and we really don't have a lot for kids to do anymore. So I kind of think that maybe we could, if we can find out what it's gonna cost to get the pool up and going, that might be a better place to spend that money than maybe Salt Branch.
I wanted to reserve the discussion about the pool so that our Parks, Park Board could make a recommendation to council.
If we do that though, without putting it in here, then we're already past that and we can't.
And there's absolutely no reason why council cannot table this until next meeting. I mean, it's been tabled twice. We keep coming up with these things, and I keep, we table it, we get it back on the agenda.
Well, I can change my
But
motion.
that's the reason why we have this discussion. And we're trying to do, all of us trying to do the right things for our citizens.
And if we're talking about Salt Branch, and I don't know what it's gonna cost, but I'm thinking we're probably looking at all the phases, all 3 phases, or however many phases we want to play it in. We're looking at something like, what, $1.5 million to $2 million in that ballpark to get it all
So
done?
all of those phases, yes, but the first phases will certainly be within the amount of money that's there.
How much, I'm trying to figure out how much difference is the first phase going to make in the overall scheme of completing the process?
Well, in the first phase, our city engineer is here, and he can be sure and correct me if I'm wrong, or if you'd like to, or if you'd like to.
I don't mind responding, I mean,
Please.
I just don't want to step in if I'm not needed.
Please come to the microphone and.
Your direct question is how much impact will phase, let's call it phase 1, which Sure. is
That's
what
good.
we're talking about, and how much impact that will have on I assume what you're wanting to know is how much impact it will have on the actual water surface, Right. or lowering the water. And we have not done a model where we did only part of the work. We have done a model where we did all of the work. We did a model where we did all of it except the things that are being done privately.
Mm-hmm.
And so what we're suggesting, or what the model indicates, is that we can lower the water surface by somewhere around 2 feet, to a little over 2 feet, if we do all of the public work and not necessarily what's being done privately or in cooperation with private. We have not done a model specifically to answer your question for what would happen if we only do phase 1. But we need to do phase 1 and phase 2 before we undertake building the large detention facilities. Clearly, they have the most impact on the water surface elevation at the bridge or at the highway. But if we don't do those, then the detention ponds won't work correctly. We've got to keep the water from backing up as a result of the highway bridge. And that report will come out. It's in its draft form. We submitted all the costs back to the hydrologist. That report should come out in the next day or two in its final form. Well, I would be less than honest if I could tell you exactly what that number was, because I can't. That's fine. But I guess what I'm concerned about is, let's say that we get phase 1 done, and then it's 8 or 10 years before we can get the rest of the money to do that. Phase 1 is basically going to be wiped out by that time. It'll grow back or be whatever things we've got there will be. We'll be back to square one, basically. Maybe not quite all the way, but pretty close to it. So when we're talking about having to come up with another $1.5 million in the budget to be able to do that project, how long is it going to take us to come up with that kind of money? That's one of the things I want to know.
Well, you're asking questions I'm not sure can be answered.
Now that's my laundry.
But what I do know is that for cleaning out those spaces, that part of the creek. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, please. For cleaning out those spaces that need very badly to be cleaned out, that will improve the flow. Mm-hmm. We know that it will improve the flow, and it will improve our situation. And if we have funds to be able to do that, then it helps the flood. It would help the flooding component immediately to be able to do that with those funds. So we will have a report for our floodplain board, who will bring a recommendation back to City Council, and I'm hoping that will be on our June the 1st meeting.
Okay.
In that regard. So.
Do we need to change the motion to table then?
That would be appropriate.
Can I ask you, do we have easements?
But answer is no, we don't have the easements, but that's how we avoid starting over at square one down the road.
Right.
Is the reason we haven't been able to get in there and clean this out is because we don't have the right to get in there and do it. Okay. But we have verbal.
We have verbal
commitments from the two landowners to sign the necessary permanent easement that will allow us to contract it out, clean it out, this time, and then it will also be available so that city forces on a periodic basis now have the right to get in there and clean it out. Getting easements is a big part. We have drainage problems all over town, and to put that on city forces to clean it out is a big item. But at the same time, the first step's got to be that you have the right to get in there, whether you've got the manpower and the equipment to do it. First, you got to be able to get in there. So we're facing this in a lot of places. Salt Branch Creek is not the least of our of the issue. But in regard to what Councilor Trammell said, yes, we have verbals that presented to their easement that they will grant us an 80-foot drainage easement for this 1,000 feet plus or minus for the cleaning out, and then that's a contract issue for phase one to go in and do that work.
Okay.
And what we're trying to do, Counselor, is we're trying to bring that creek back to the model. There was a model done by FEMA, and that model projected it, looked at the creek and said, this is what we think the creek bank looks like. Well, it doesn't look like that now.
Right.
It doesn't have the flow characteristics it had. So we're trying to bring it back to what the model thought it looked like back in 1993 or 94 when that model was first run.
Do you have a guesstimate? Well, the monies we have in the CARE Act's like, what, 370-some thousand now?
Somewhere around that, 370, 380, you know, and
Would that be able to possibly complete?
Hip shot, one of those phases was $60,000, one
Yes.
of them was $200,000.
Yes.
Okay.
So, yeah, and right, for the phase one upstream, I think was $60,000. For phase one downstream, which we're gonna need to get the easements from those, because some of that's out in the county, but that's a little, frankly, we looked at that estimate because we don't really know what we're gonna encounter down there once we start excavating. We know what we're gonna encounter upstream. We've walked it, it's pretty clear, but there's rumors as to what that area downstream has, and so we've kind of made sure, and the disposal of that material is we're facing. So that's why that dollar value downstream is a little higher.
Okay.
But I believe that based on contract numbers and recent contract numbers, that these numbers are good enough, as the mayor indicated.
Those are estimates. and so
Those are
Those will be bid out.
You know, ODOT numbers, recent creek cleaning that's been done in Wagner County.
Okay.
That we've been involved with for clearing and grubbing. And so I feel pretty confident those numbers are good. If we don't have another COVID and then,
Yeah.
shut down and things go up another 40 or 50%.
We do have easements going west, partial easements over there on the Crawford property, correct?
Partial. yes,
Partial, yeah,
yes,
it's about a
sir.
10-foot easement or whatever.
Right,
Yeah,
it's not wide enough for us, we're
No,
gonna get temporary
yeah,
construction,
but-
but that's a good first step. But
Good, but, so then you have to, you have to get more easements from the Larimores, where I think they got a place there, then you gotta get some easements there.
Yeah, and again, I have visited with him, we have the verbal, that he's not been presented anything, but there's the added issue of that being out in the county that we've got to deal with.
Okay.
So are we tabling this, or we going forward? What did-
That is up to council.
I just would table it and bring it
You
back.
can table it, bring it
I'll
back.
change my motion to table it.
Don't you-
Who gave the second?
I'll second.
Motion to table Shropshire and second Smith to table. Call for vote?
Chitwood,
Yes.
Brinkfield,
Yes.
Trammell,
Yes.
Thompson,
Yes.
Ketcher,
No.
Shropshire,
Yes.
Nance,
No.
Smith.
Yes.
Motion carries. We'll plan on a discussion of that at next meeting. Item F, a few updates. Whitaker Park Pool. You heard Frank Powell's report. We have the ice age. We had an inspection. We've done a sonogram. We have a report. The report's not complete until we have the information from the health department. There's no assurances that the pool will open at this point, but stay tuned. That's as much of an update really as I can give to you. On the Castle Theater, thank you for the conversation that we've had at last meeting. We've been listening to citizens. There's one concern that's showing interest to purchase the property. So we're kind of in a process with Castle Theater. On item 3, local cleanup of rights-of-way and drainage improvements, Salt Branch Creek, we're getting estimates there. We spoke about that just a second ago. Also, on Southeast 7th and 8th Street, there's a drain through there that we're trying to get some permanent easements through there, and that will come before our floodplain board at the meeting. Thank you, Steve, for your work in that regard. The budget process, just about got budget numbers ready to present to budget personnel, which will happen the meeting in June. So just a few updates for council. Item 5, city attorney's report.
Mayor?
Oh,
You want to do your addendum?
thank you so much. Thank you so much. You could refer to the addendum. You have that in front of you. Discussion, possible action regarding removing the CARES Act funding, which has been awarded to the city Pryor Creek by the state of Oklahoma from the general revenue expenditure accounts 02-000-4401, 02-000-405, and 02-201-5401, respectively, and creating a separate fund for receiving, spending, and accounting for CARES Act funding.
Motion.
I'll second.
Motion Chitwood, second Thompson. Discussion?
Moving the money all into one account?
We'll put it in a separate fund.
And the reason for this is because of the accountability, for accounting purposes, basically. That way, if we get, this money is not subject to auditing, but this way, if anybody wants to know what it's spent on, you can find out what it's spent on.
Well,
Accounting purposes.
this came before budget, and this has come up
Yeah.
several different times. I think that,
It's good.
you know, we have been able to keep that money separate when we were doing accountings and recognize that it is separate, recognize that this is not money we're gonna continue to get each and every year, but just because it has raised some confusion, it would be better probably just to remove it and put it in its own account.
I appreciate that.
Do we have an account number yet?
Account number's not been assigned yet.
Eva's on vacation.
Our city clerk is on vacation. When she gets back, then we will set that up. I also did check with, as Council Trammell instructed or requested, I did check with our city accountant, and there's no problem there. Any more questions, discussion? Call for vote?
Brakefield,
Yes.
Trammell,
Yes.
Thompson,
Yes.
Ketcher,
Yes.
Shropshire.
Yes.
Nance.
Yes.
Smith,
Yes.
Chitwood.
Yes.
Motion carries. There's no city attorney's report that I'm aware of.
None.
Thank you. Item 6, discussion possible action on consent agenda. Item A, approved minutes of the May 4, 2021 council meeting. B, approved payroll purchase orders through May 28, 2021. C, approved claims for purchase orders through May 18, 2021. D, acknowledged receipt of deficient purchase orders. E, approved March 2021 appropriation requests. F, discussion possible action regarding expenditure in the amount of $3,000 to overdrive for the Thomas J. Harrison Pryor Public Library from library non-book materials account number 02-221-5032. G, discussion possible action regarding accepting bid for hot water pressure washer from Northern Tool and Equipment in the amount of $3,799.99 as the lowest and best bid for Pryor Creek Park Department from COVID reimbursement account 02-201-5401. Other bids received: Best Buy Automotive Equipment, $3,860. Pressure Water Direct, Washers Direct, $3,899.99. CNA Sales, $5,069.50. Item H, discussion possible action regarding accepting bid for ice machine from Air Heat Systems LLC in the amount of $3,700 at lowest and best bid for the Pryor Creek Fire Department from Fire Repair Maintenance Account 02-217-5091. Other bids received: Masters Heating and Cooling Appliances, $4,200. Melton's A&C Appliance, $4,027.98. Item I, discussion possible action regarding an expenditure in the amount of $10,080 to Upcurve Cloud for the G Suite Base annual license subscription from May 12, 2021 to May 11, 2022 from general software account 02-201-5260. J, discussion and possible action regarding accepting bid from Carmen Concrete LLC in the amount of $27,646.52 for extended parking on north end of existing fire building to accommodate firefighters and assist in medevac transport from COVID reimbursement account 02-201-5401. Other bids received, Matlock Construction, $28,700, and there was an item put in the addendum from Rick Ogden Construction in the amount of $29,642.
Do you need to amend that to take that number out since we voted it out? The CARES number, discount number?
No. Item K, discussion possible action regarding removing from the table item 6I on May 4, 2021. Item L, discussion possible action regarding change order number 1 for drainage project at 3rd and East Manor. Item M, discussion possible action regarding acceptance of donation from Cherokee Nation in the amount of $3,500 to the Pryor Creek Police Department, miscellaneous account 96004502. Item N, discussion possible action regarding acceptance of donation from Cherokee Nation in the amount of $3,500 to the Pryor Creek Fire Department, Cherokee Nation contribution account 96004535. Item O, discussion possible action regarding City of Pryor Creek bidding on property owned by Wilma Ruth Wells, 604 Belmont, Pryor Creek, Oklahoma, property ID 1010000004-0001-0001-00, base ID 1674, legal description, Belmont Edition, Block 4, Lot 31, in an amount not to exceed $3,700 at the sale of real estate for delinquent tax to be held on June 14, 2021 at 9 a.m. Mays County Courthouse, Treasurer's Office. Item P, discussion possible action regarding City of Pryor Creek bidding on property owned by Antonio Villegas, 203 North 8 Air, Pryor Creek, Oklahoma, property ID 1001-00-004-011-0-001-000, base ID 15975, legal description, Pryor, original block 4 north 50-foot lot 11 in the amount not to exceed $8,500 at the sale of real estate for delinquent tax to be paid on June 14, 2021 at 9 o'clock a.m. at the Mays County Courthouse, Treasurer's Office. Item Q, discussion possible action regarding City of Pryor Creek bidding on property owned by Michael Smith, 302 South Whitaker, Pryor Creek, Oklahoma, property ID 1300-006-006-001-0-001-00, base ID 18100, legal description, Landrum Edition, Block 6, North 65-foot, Lot 1, in an amount not to exceed $1,200 at the sale of real estate for delinquent tax to be held on June 14, 2021 at 9 a.m. at the Mays County Courthouse Treasurer's Office. This is the consent agenda. Which items would council like to remove?
M, N, and O.
M, yep.
M, N, and O.
Yep.
P, Q,
Say again.
P and Q.
Okay. P and Q.
J and L.
J and L. Also like to remove then item K.
J and K. Oh, I got K.
Are there others?
You need to know, motion to table.
The items The items that have been removed, item J, K, L, M, N, O, P, and Q. Are there others? I'd entertain a motion then to approve consent agenda of those who have not been called out.
Motion.
Second.
Motion Catcher, second Smith. Call for vote.
Trammell,
Yes.
Thompson,
Yes.
Ketcher,
Yes.
Shropshire,
Yes.
Nance.
Yes.
Smith,
Yes.
Chitwood,
Yes.
Brakefield.
Yes.
Item J, discussion and possible action regarding bid from Carmen Concrete LLC in the amount of $27,646.52 for extended parking on north end of existing fire building to accommodate firefighters and assist in medevac transport from COVID reimbursement account 02-201-5401. Other bids received, Matlock Construction, $28,700. And to amend that motion, adding the third item, Rick Ogden Construction at $29,642.
Make that motion.
Motion, Thompson,
Second.
second, Chitwood.
I'd
Discussion.
like to amend, I'd like to know if you can amend the motion to exclude the account number, since we just
Yeah.
moved the account number from there, we moved
So-
that over.
That's
Sure.
what I was
I
asking
will amend
earlier.
my motion.
Yeah, I just want to do it in a discussion.
That's fine,
Yeah,
that's
yeah,
fine.
To remove
Yep,
it.
just move that.
And my second.
I'll amend.
So if you did that, well, we do not know what that account number is.
We just-
So that account number has not been named yet. It would not make any difference one way or the other. So what we'd be voting on is to do that expenditure, whether it comes out of this account number or another account number that we are going to create.
Right.
Just show it as a motion to pay it out of the CARE Act relief fund,
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
and then staff can put the account number in later. That's fine.
So we do have a motion and a second. Call for vote.
Thompson,
Yes.
Ketcher,
Yes.
Shropshire,
Yes.
Nance.
Yes.
Smith,
Yes.
Chitwood.
Yes.
Brakefield,
Yes.
Trammell.
Yes.
Motion carries. Item K, discussion and possible action regarding removing from the table item 6I on May 4, 2021. Is there a motion?
Motion. Second.
Motion Chitwood, second Smith. Call for vote.
Can we be reminded of what that item was?
That is the next item.
Yeah.
That's the
Okay,
next item,
excuse
item
me.
L on the agenda. Yes. Thank you. Call for vote.
Ketcher,
Yes.
Shropshire,
Yes.
Nance.
Yes.
Smith,
Yes.
Chitwood,
Yes.
Brakefield,
Yes.
Trammell,
Yes.
Thompson.
Yes.
Motion carries. Item L, discussion and possible action regarding change order number 1 for drainage project at Third and East Manor.
I make a motion to approve that with the number of $17,329.15 to be included in my motion, as stated from.
The motion is amended to include $17,329.15
Second.
and seconded by Chitwood. Discussion.
Is that the reason why this construction stopped, was this change order?
Mr. Powell?
Short answer there is no. But it's, the weather is basically what the reason Third and East Manor has not progressed at this point. They are planning on being back out there tomorrow. They have made some progress in the last few days to try to control the water that's coming to the site. In fact, the system is being used at this point to collect the water from off the cemetery property. But they just haven't completed the inlet structure and the piping that goes over there. I want to apologize first to the council that you're getting this cold. We have been discussing this change order for a few weeks now, and as you know, it was on the last agenda, and I asked for it to be tabled because we didn't have the numbers together. These numbers have been massaged and worked to the point where I feel comfortable with the numbers that we've got now. Typically, we would do something of this nature, is what I call a reconciliation change order at the end of the job. But due to the fact that we ran into a MUB water line, and that water line needed to be removed and moved out of the way, lowered actually to be out of the way of the storm sewer. And the excavation for that water line was not, let's call it not clean. There were some unknowns about how the water line routed behind the curb to a fire hydrant, how deep it was, and some of the things that needed to be rectified and cleaned up and straightened up with this particular connection. And as a result, we were left with a pretty good sizable hole at Oklahoma and 3rd Street, which was opened by MUB forces as well as our contractor doing the storm sewer work as he crossed it. But the bottom line was the closing up of that hole and the covering up of that hole is to be done by the general contractor that's doing the street. And so as a result, the quantity that he was of rock and the quantity of concrete that he was having to put in went up. It's an overrun in the original quantity. And I would, like I say, I would normally do this at the end of the job, but it got to the point where it's a dollar value, as you can see, that they're having to carry it. The contractor's actually having to carry it for a period of time. And I have felt for some time that this was not right on the contractor. It was right that we needed to do the work. It was right that the dollar values were right, but it was not right to make the contractor carry it to the end of the job. And so I went ahead and started looking at these dollar values. And I will tell you that the number that's before you tonight is considerably less than the number that we started out with when we started massaging the numbers. But I think the bottom line is we're going to end up with a much better street as well as a much better storm sewer system along that area. And
I'd like to commend our city engineer for the work. In these rehabilitation jobs, it's not uncommon at all to run across these things and to have to do a change order, have to incur additional cost in environments like that. So I'd like to go on record to commend our city engineer for doing the right thing, and I appreciate that.
thank you. I'll answer any other questions you might have about the need for it or whatever you want.
That's good. Other questions? Call for vote?
Shropshire,
Yes.
Nance,
Yes.
Smith,
Yes.
Chitwood,
Yes.
Brakefield,
Yes.
Trammell,
Yes.
Thompson,
Yes.
Ketcher.
Yes.
Item M, discussion and possible action regarding acceptance of donation from Cherokee Nation in the amount of $3,500 to Pryor Creek Police Department, miscellaneous account 96004502. Motion?
Motion. Second.
Motion Chitwood, second Smith. Discussion?
I'd like to thank the Cherokee Nation for their donation to the city again, very much appreciated,
Absolutely.
and we put to good use. Thank you for the council.
Hear, hear.
Yeah,
I thought the,
but I'll need to abstain on
separate.
both M and N since I work for the tribe.
Say again?
I thought they had a separate donation account for the police department.
There is more than one donation account.
Oh.
So we have some flexibility there about,
Well, it says miscellaneous, so I
Yeah.
thought maybe why, I was wondering why it didn't actually go in a donation account.
so I can look that up for you.
When we were working on the agenda, Eva mentioned that she was trying to find a good account to put that in. This is one that was originally used for a grant that we no longer deal with, so it was an available revenue account that we could put this in. I believe it was used to be the.
I don't have a problem where it went, I just knew that we had donation accounts.
Yeah. I'm not sure what her reasoning was for choosing that one, but she renamed it a miscellaneous since we don't deal with the OD Mayor grant, which is what that originally was.
So that particular account number, just for the Budget Personnel Committee and for council, is not listed on the report, but it is listed on our chart of accounts. And so what we have done is we have changed the name on that chart of accounts to a miscellaneous account for the purpose of receiving that grant, or those monies. Thank you for pointing that out, Council Smith.
When I look at the balance sheet, it shows here donation and earmarked monies. Now, this was, again, I don't know if it's shows an account of 969655535 for the Cherokee Nation, but I'm not sure, so, you know, I think Eva could always move that around, or Larry can make that choice to move that around where he wants to at that time, so.
Correct.
You know, but there's another account in there, but I think it's just for accountability, you can do what you, basically, that's what I'm looking at that and
I
see,
believe
so.
what she said was that the 000 is a
It's a
revenue.
revenue account.
It's a
so-
revenue account.
account, so.
So
yeah, so-
listing it in a revenue account.
And she can move it, and she can transfer it, you know, because it's donations,
So,
it
yeah.
doesn't have to come back to council, so it shouldn't come back to council, so, yeah, so, yep.
Thank you for that discussion. Any other discussion? Call for vote?
Nance,
Yes.
Smith,
Yes.
Chitwood,
Yes.
Brakefield,
Yes.
Trammell,
Yes,
Thompson,
Yes.
Ketcher,
Abstain.
Shropshire.
Yes.
Motion carries. Item N, discussion possible action regarding acceptance of donation from Cherokee Nation in the amount of $3,500 to the Pryor Creek Fire Department Cherokee Nation contribution account 96004535.
Motion?
Second.
Motion Shropshire, second Chitwood. Discussion.
And again, like to thank Cherokee Nation for partnering with the city and the donations on behalf of the council and the citizens of Pryor.
Hear, hear. Other discussion? Call for vote?
Smith,
Yes.
Chitwood,
Yes.
Brakefield,
Yes.
Trammell,
yes,
Thompson,
Yes.
Ketcher,
Abstain.
Shropshire,
Yes.
Nance.
Yes.
Motion carries. Item O, discussion possible action regarding City of Pryor Creek bidding on property owned by Wilma Ruth Wells, 604 Belmont, Pryor Creek, Oklahoma. You see the property ID and you see the description. Is there a motion?
Motion?
Second.
Motion Chitwood, second Smith. Discussion.
I'm having to abstain because she was my grandmother. She's now deceased, and that's controlled by another relative, so I just,
Thank you for that.
Yeah.
Thank you for that, Council Catcher.
Two things. Are we aware that there's a medical lien on this property for $27,176?
Did they have notice of the tax sale?
I imagine they did.
That would be wiped out.
Okay, I was curious about that. And two, why are we buying property? What is the intent to purchase this property?
I can explain, this is a process that we developed several years ago where whenever we clean properties and we obtain a lien on them, and they go up for a tax sale, we started buying them for the unpaid taxes so that we didn't lose the investment we had in them on cleaning them. And then all the ones that we acquired over the past few years, we deeded to the EDTA, and the EDTA then marketed them, and some local builders bought them. So it has two purposes: try to recoup the investment that we've got in them from cleaning them up, and number two, to try to get the properties redeveloped by having the EDTA market them to local developers.
So even if all we have in it is a couple $100, just
We have
asking.
150 is our lien on that one.
Yes.
So if we pay, the way this works is if you paid $3,700 at the tax sale, then you take the $150 off of that. And then we can go through each of these as they pop up. But whatever that is, you deduct, because you're paying yourself.
Right.
That total amount that's outstanding has the lien figured into the city's lien. So whatever the city's lien is, whenever you pay it, it comes back to you from the treasurer. But yeah.
Okay, I was just curious why we were buying more
Michael,
property.
you know, once we started this process, I liked the process, but the EDTA, don't they have funds that they can buy properties out of, or does the resolution say we have to buy the funds? Do we have to pay it, or do they have funds they can purchase?
Well, it's action by city council.
Right.
It's action by city council, so, yes, EDTA does have funds, but it's action by city council.
But should we, and I don't know if they're financially able to do it right now,
The
Should-
EDTA has about 30,000 from the sale of the previous lots that we sold, and then they also have a budget. I don't know how much.
That's correct.
I don't know how much budgeted.
My question, should this come from their account instead of our account?
From a legal standpoint, the EDTA would have to vote in a meeting to acquire those properties because they are a public trust. They make their own decisions on if they're gonna buy a property or not.
Oh.
So,
Okay.
but yeah, I mean, that can be done. It's
But we
fine
don't-
For the EDTA, they can vote to buy the properties and market them.
That's something we probably need to look at in the future, I would think, because that's just, if they got 30,000, you know, if we're gonna deed them over to them, correct?
That's what's been done.
That's right, that's the way the process works. And
Yeah.
so,
Yeah, so the 30,000 that is in that fund is funded from the general fund. And so that is all kind of contained in the general fund. The reason why we funded that, the EDTA, is so they would have monies to work with when it was necessary. And then when properties would be sold, then they would be put into a revenue account that would be opposite of that expenditure.
I've got no
account.
problem with
Those funds that are, whenever the EDTA sells property, that money does not go to the city.
No.
It goes to the EDTA.
It goes to the EDTA,
EDTA
that's
has
correct.
its own bank
That's
account,
right.
because it is a public trust.
That's why I bring it up. Should we, in the future, look at saying, do you all wanna buy it instead of us buying it? That way it wouldn't have to come to the council, would it?
Well, no, if we adopted that
That's-
practice in the future.
That's what I'm saying. We might look at that. Maybe it's a cleaner method, you know, I'm just.
Thank you, Council
That's
Tramwell. I
what I'm
think-
saying.
yeah,
That way it
that's
don't have to,
correct.
you know, and that way that gives them more latitude to do what they want to. So, yeah.
Okay, so the medical lien, okay, that's what I just went and looked these up next door today, and so I saw that on there, so if they're notified, I was just worried if, is that gonna follow the property?
No,
Okay,
all liens are extinguished through the tax sale,
okay,
provided they got notice.
yes,
And if-
oh,
And if they didn't get notice, then that's what you have to clean up and collect title suit later. And it can be
I mean, I
filed.
didn't verify that, but I assume our treasurer's office does,
They're usually pretty good.
yes, that's what, so, okay, okay.
Other discussion? Thank you. Call for vote.
Chitwood,
Yes.
Brakefield,
Yes.
Trammell,
Yes.
Thompson,
Yes,
Ketcher,
Abstain.
Shropshire,
Yes.
Nance,
Yes.
Smith.
Yes.
Item P, discussion and possible action regarding the city of Pryor Creek bidding on property owned by Antolino, I'm not sure if that's correct, Villegas. Thank you. 203 North Adair, Pryor Creek, Oklahoma, and you see the property ID and the description, not to exceed $8,500. Is there a motion?
I'll make that motion. Second. I
Motion
really
Chit-
wanted you to hear you read that.
Motion Chitwood, second Smith.
this one is no longer in the cell. He came and paid his taxes up.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Paid his taxes up.
We get
Yeah.
our money.
Yes, he did. He came and paid his taxes, so it's been removed from the cell.
Awesome, so we would not need to approve that one then. Very good.
So do we just take no action on that one?
Yeah, let's change the motion, modify the motion.
I'll modify my motion to no action.
Okay, modified motion, no action, Chitwood, and second Smith. Move on to item Q. Thank you, Council Thompson, for that.
You're welcome.
Discussion and possible action regarding City of Pryor Creek bidding on property owned by Michael Smith, 302 South Whitaker, Pryor Creek, Oklahoma. You see the property ID and the base legal description in an amount not to exceed $1,200. Is there a motion?
Make a motion. Second.
Motion Chitwood, second Smith.
Just for the record, I think that's Mitchell Smith.
Oh,
Mitchell.
please excuse, Mitchell Smith. Thank you.
That was just the same question. What is the intent with this property? But I'm good.
Other discussion? Hearing none, call for vote.
Trammell,
Yes.
Thompson,
Yes.
Ketcher,
Yes.
Shropshire,
Yes.
Nance.
Yes.
Smith,
Yes.
Chitwood,
Yes.
Brakefield.
Yes.
Motion carries. Item 7, committee reports, budget personnel, Brakefield.
No reports, just that our next meeting is June 8th at 5:30.
Thank you. Item B, ordinance insurance, Shropshire.
We've got one in the works, but we don't have it made up yet.
All right, item C, Smith.
Nothing at this time.
Thank you very much. Item 8, unforeseeable business. Know of none. Item 9, adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Motion
Second.
Ketcher, second Smith. Call for vote, please.
Hang on a second,
That was a little quick, wasn't
I
it?
know, that always gets me.
So sorry.
Thompson,
Yes.
Ketcher,
Yes.
Shropshire,
Yes.
Nance,
Yes.
Smith,
Yes.
Chitwood,
Yes.
Brakefield.
Yes.
Trammell.
Yes.
We'll call to order Pryor Public Works Authority. And item 2, approve minutes, May 4, 2021 meeting.
Motion.
Motion Smith, second Chitwood. Discussion. Call for vote.
Ketcher,
Yes.
Shropshire,
Yes.
Nance.
Yes.
Smith,
Yes.
Chitwood,
Yes.
Brakefield.
Yes.
Trammell,
Yes.
Thompson.
Yes.
Motion carries. Item 3, unforeseeable business, I know of none. Item 4, adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Ketcher, motion
Second.
to adjourn. Chitwood, second. Call for vote.
Shropshire,
Yes.
Nance,
Yes.
Smith,
Yes.
Chitwood,
Yes.
Brakefield.
Yes.
Trammell,
Yes.
Thompson,
Yes.
Ketcher.
Yes. Motion carries. We are adjourned. Thank you all.
Going to bed.